foods and the components in nature that will make them more useful in terms of your longevity.
Well, and how did you get interested in the mushroom end of this, Marvin?
Well, it came from Alzheimer's disease. As I mentioned earlier, I was investigating, and I went on a mission for the last 15 years to cure Alzheimer's disease. And I started doing work with antioxidant experts at Harvard Medical School and other institutions in the United States, and we found these antioxidants. Some of them are in wine, by the way. Pinot Noir grapes, we studied that, have very high levels of antioxidants. And then when we came to mushrooms, because we found this very heat-stable antioxidant called ergothioneine. And the Germans, about 4 years ago in Cologne, University of Cologne, discovered a taxi cab, a transporter that's sitting in your red cell, your white cell, and even in sperm cells. And that transporter, for the energy of the cell and the antioxidant capacity of the cell, is looking for ergothioneine. Only ergo can fit into that taxi cab. And then we decided, where is ergo? And we found that it's in mushrooms. And it's also in certain red grapes, like Pinot Noir grapes. We found that that the Pinot Noir grape from the Willamette Valley, for example, has a higher level of ergo than the Cabernet grape from Sonoma. So you have to understand these things, and that's what I would like to convey to the world, that foods may be the answer to many of the diseases we have.
What about people's pets? I mean, people care about their animals.
Same principle. The pet is a mammal. The same principle that we talked about in humans. Cats have diabetes. Dogs have eyesight problems, have inflammatory components in their body similar to humans. They get cancer. We did a study in horses where they have sarcoid tumor. That's a viral tumor. And we found that certain combinations of mushrooms could remove the sarcoid, not remove it physically, but can actually make it disappear because we were killing the virus. And the same thing in dogs. I mean, dogs have inflammatory gum disease. Cats have inflammatory gum disease, and you can actually alleviate that. And we did a study in dogs and in horses at UC Davis where we actually cured the gum disease with mushrooms.
There's a guy working at a restaurant here in the heart of St. Louis. He's been there for 40, 50 years. He's 83 years old, Marvin, and he doesn't want to quit work. He told me last week, he said, if I quit, I know I'm going to die, so I just keep working and I feel great. Now, let's assume that he also took the proper supplements and nutritional foods and things like that. If he keeps active by working, maybe doing a little treadmill, how long do you think he can go?
I said earlier, I think life can be extended beyond what the normality is today if we take care of ourselves. He possibly could go, and based on the Hayflick model, he could go out to be 120. I think the maximum lifespan of a cell before it totally gives away would be 120, theoretically, on a computer model. So you could go to 100. I mean, there's no reason why people today can't live to be 100 with good bodily functions. Look, George Burns was smoking a cigar on his 100th birthday.
Yeah, absolutely. Bob Hope lasted a long time.
Yeah, they take care of themselves. You think about it. You look at people. If I had two people with pneumonia, and they came into my office, and I gave them this, they had the same exact bacteria for the pneumonia, and I gave them equal amounts of penicillin, same units of penicillin. It's logical that the person with better nutrition is going to have a better immune system and is going to respond to the injection. And it's
Absolutely.
The same thing about all diseases.
Why does it seem that when a person stops working or retires, they turn to mush, maybe they die sooner? Why is that?
Because your system requires a certain amount of activity every day. You know, they even say if you sleep more than 8 hours, it's negative. You have to sleep 6 to 7 to 8 hours, not more. Those people who stay all day long, you have to wake up your metabolism. You have to wake up your brain function, and then you're going to live longer. And, you know, there's a principle in medicine that when you use the same nerve endings every day, that your nerves will lose its function. So you want to do things that are different every day. So having the same job may not be perfect, but but you're working, you're thinking, and you should do different things. If you always do the same thing every day, you want to use different nerve fibers. So you want to think and do different things every day.
Well, and I'm beginning to think that the brain and keeping it active may have a lot to do with this.
Yeah, that's so obvious. I mean, you know that when you do a crossword puzzle, they did studies in, I think, at UCLA Medical Center, where they took people and they did PET scans on them. And when they were doing crossword puzzles, the PET scan showed a higher level of glycogen metabolism and sugar metabolism in the brain cells. So they were waking up their brain cells. And you need to do that. I think to stop living is going to be quick deterioration. When I say stop living, I mean stop working.
Yeah, and being active. Do you think children are being given too many things with sugar in them?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah. You ever notice that things on the same level of the shelf go quickest in the refrigerator? That people never bend down to see what's on the lowest shelf. They only look straight ahead.
Right.
And whatever there, they take out and use. Men are worse than women. That I don't bend down. My wife says I don't bend down to look to see what this is good food on the bottom shelf. I take whatever in front of me there, and that's the same thing on every day. Isn't it easier to go to McDonald's and have lunch rather than make your sandwich early in the morning? Get up a half an hour early and make a vegetarian sandwich with good nutrition.
I have sworn off all fast foods now. I don't do it.
Well, you're very smart. I mean, a fast food, just by the word fast food, means where does the fast food come from? It comes from something that they want to make money on, and they're not going to have the best nutritional components in them.
It tastes good, but I'm not doing it anymore.
Well, of course it tastes good. They want you to like it.
Why do things that taste good, how come they're sometimes not the best thing for us?
Well, because you have, we're going into another area. You have something in your brain called serotonin, and it's a serotonin response. That means it's a pleasure response. Sex is a pleasure response. Eating is a pleasure response. And so what you do is you trigger that. Laughing is a pleasure response. And so you trigger the serotonin response, and so we put foods in that trigger serotonin responses. They
know this through research, don't they?
Yes, very obviously.
It's a science. Everything's a science, Marvin.
Well, science of making money.
Well, but there's one thing of making money the right way and making it the improper way. I don't see anything wrong with people, making a good living, helping other people. But when it's the opposite, then I got a problem with that.
No, there's no question. I mean, I'm not implying that making money is bad. What I was implying is that a lot of things are developed because of the commercial value, not because of the health value. I, as an MD, have taken an oath that I have to help my fellow man. Why I'm doing this, I said it was selfish because I want to live to be 120. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think I'd like to leave a legacy because I came into this world only with my name. I'm going to go out with my name. I can't take anything with me. But if I could leave something, if I could leave some component of life that adds to someone's life, haven't I done more for the world than any other one?
Well, and don't end up like that Twilight Zone movie, right, where Burgess Meredith ended up... Or somebody broke his watch, and everybody stopped and stood still. If you're going to live to 120, don't you want to take other people with you? I think you do.
Absolutely. I'll take you with me, George.
I'm on my way. I'll be broadcasting until I'm 120. How about
I'd like to celebrate that and be on your show.
Can you guarantee that my voice will stay about the same?
That I've never tested that one. I haven't done any studies there, but probably it'll stay good. You have a good voice, George.
Yeah, but at 120, I might come back on and go, welcome to Coast to Coast. I'm not sure the network would want me to do that by that time. Marvin, of all the things we've talked about today, do you see the vitamin D deficiency? I'll call it the vitamin D because that's what I've been taught. The vitamin D deficiency as one of the biggest problems going on right now?
Yes, I can give you a specific example. My vitamin D, I was very concerned about vitamin D when I found out about 6 months ago, so I measured my vitamin D. Normal levels are 50. My vitamin D came back at 14. Now, I take care of myself. I eat well. I'm in the sun. And then I came across an article where people with vitamin D deficiency who are over the age of 60, which I am, have a 2.5 times incidence of cardiac arrest and death. So I got really nervous about it. So I said, I'm going to increase my vitamin D. So I decided I'm not going to treat myself. I'm going to go to an expert who's a nutritional expert. So I went on high doses of vitamin D. I finally got it up to 34, and then I started taking my mushrooms with high levels of vitamin D, and I got it back up to 50.
Super.
I also was studying the incidence of vitamin D in different diseases.
Yeah, hold on for a sec, Marvin. We're at the top of the hour. I want to come back and talk more about that vitamin D deficiency and how you pumped it up. And we're going to take an hour of phone calls with you on Coast to Coast AM. This hour, you were talking to us about vitamin D and how you got that level back up to 50 or so, and then the clock got us. So I'd let you pick up from there.
Yeah, I was quite concerned because of the increased incidence of heart disease. I'm over the age of 60, and there's no question there are epidemiological studies in the United States that show that low levels of vitamin D are directly related to the incidence of heart attacks. And I went for another vitamin D today, just not coincidence with your show, but I just went for it, and my vitamin D again was 50. And I took it the other day. I wanted to see the results today. We've connected vitamin D to many diseases. We've even connected it to multiple sclerosis, heart disease, autoimmune diseases, diabetes, lung function. You can go on and on and on with respect to the relationship to vitamin D. Why we didn't know about it, I don't know. I think medicine, we're not perfect. Life is not a straight line. We've overlooked this most important vitamin.
All right, let's go to some of the calls. We'll start with Oceanside, California, west of the Rockies. Hey, Michael, you're up with us. Go ahead, Michael.
Hi, George, and hello, Doctor.
Hello.
You wouldn't happen to be related to John Hausman, would you?
No, but I've been in high school. They used to make fun of me. They said I was the great writer, John Hausman's brother. So,
well, he was a great writer and a great actor, and he also did a voiceover for McDonald's. I remember.
Yes.
Well, my question was, I had a couple of questions. You mentioned that some type of a blood test earlier in the program, and I wanted to have you reiterate what that was. And since mushrooms are like a fungus, what if we unknowingly took a powder or took some of the mushrooms and had an adverse or allergic reaction?
Well, let's start with we'll work backwards. We'll talk about the test afterwards. First of all, the fungal kingdom is the largest kingdom of any food substance. And within that kingdom are obviously edible mushrooms, but also unedible mushrooms. And there are funguses that you don't eat that, could make you have diseases. So we're only talking about edible mushrooms, things that have been proven over the test of time, thousands of years in China, Japan, even in the United States. You can look at early man. When the Iceman was discovered in the Andes, 5000 BC, he had a mushroom necklace on. He was climbing up there. He obviously died, but I don't think the mushroom was going to protect him at 5,000 feet, but he was eating mushrooms. So they knew about it many, many years ago before we even came into our current existence. With respect to the tests, we were talking about diabetes and blood tests that can measure blood sugar. And blood sugar wanders all over the place all day long. And there are certain proteins in the blood that combine with blood sugar to stabilize it. One of the proteins is in the red cell, and the other one is in the kidney. And the one in the red cell is called hemoglobin A1C. Hemoglobin is carried by the red cell, which carries oxygen. And the one in the kidney is called a glycomark assay. It's a protein, and I don't want to bore you with the names of all of these, but these are assays that can stabilize the level of blood sugar and give you a better reading so that you know what's going on. And I think that's what you were referring to.
Yeah, well, I think you had a specific name for it. I thought it was something that we should have done when we have a blood panel, as George was talking.
Oh, well, that was the A1C, was that it?
Well, you would measure, if you don't have diabetes, you would have a glucose level. You would measure your insulin level. In fact, I've done that, and I find that